My name is Melvin Carter, and I get to serve as the mayor of the most incredible city on the planet. And I say that in all seriousness. And the way I know that St. Paul is the most incredible city on the planet is really simple. I grew up in St. Paul, and I've lived here all my life, with the exception of college. That actually helped me learn even more. I always tell folks that one of the most important lessons I learned in moving 1,000 miles away to go to college in Florida is that St. Paul is actually pretty cool. Because I took for granted growing up some of the things that are just an amazing part of who we are as a city. I took for granted growing up that every city must have a first-rate library system like we do here. I took for granted growing up every city must have this incredible network of parks and recreation centers. Every city must have a free zoo that families can go to. Every city must have like the arts and culture and diversity and all the things that we have to boast. But as it turns out, every city doesn't have what we have. And we take it for granted because it's such a part of the oxygen here. And you know that saying that like a fish doesn't know how special water is? We can be like that about our city sometimes. I know that this is the most incredible city on the planet because I grew up on every single part of this page. I grew up, I kid you not, and Marcus grew up here with me. We used to take the school bus to the Hallie Q. Brown Center for after-school programs in Club Room C every day after school growing up. We used to go, with Miss Mildred. We used to, have all these activities at our libraries and the recreation centers. I kid you not, I joke sometimes that when it was time to get in trouble, I look at my friends and say, are you kidding? Do you know what I have to do tomorrow? Like, we got a busy schedule with all these after-school programs and weekend programs and spring break programs and summer programs, and I'll try to fit in that trouble next week if I can, but we got a lot of stuff going on, and I got a lot of people counting on me. And that's the thing, I always felt that, because in the types of programs that you run,
sure I understand.
Siri doesn't understand. Thank you. In the types of programs that you run, I grew up surrounded literally every day, all the time, by adults who just believed in me, who believed in me in their program, and who would yell at me to get out the street if they saw me in the street, after school or on the weekend. I was able to form lasting friendships with friends my age. I was able to develop skills, and whether that serves as hobbies or part of the things. I was in an after-school program that taught storytelling, and some of the folks who were in that program with me joke to this day that I'm still telling stories and using those skills that we learned. And so I say all that to say that as we talk about public safety, as we talk about education, as we talk about economic empowerment, as we talk about literally all of the things that we ambition as a community, as a city, for the future of our community, one of the reasons this conversation is so important is because you get down the road of anything we want for St. Paul, and it leads very quickly to our ability to prepare our children for the future. Everything we want for St. Paul starts and ends with our ability to prepare our children for the future. And as director, thank you. And one of the things that drives me crazy, in the role before this, I served as executive director of the Minnesota Children's Cabinet. In the role before that, I was on the St. Paul Promise neighborhood, found in the St. Paul, or on the St. Paul City Council, found in the St. Paul Promise neighborhood. And because I've got some experience in that question, what's the city's role in education? Every now and then somebody will ask me this question. They'll say, hey, listen, what's one thing that we can do? Mayor, what's one thing we can do? Director Carter, council member, what's one thing that we can do to fundamentally change the game, to fundamentally improve the outcomes, to fundamentally improve the road ahead for our children, for low-income children, from black and brown children, for all of our children in our community? And I've come to the conclusion that the one thing that we can do that would be most powerful to help our children succeed is stop pretending we're looking for only one thing that we can do to help our children succeed. You have children who you know, who you love, who you feed, whose names you know, whose eyes we see before we go to bed. And for those children who we love, the question is never what's one thing we can do. For the children we love, the question is, what's everything we can possibly put in front of them that can boost their ability to succeed, that can boost their chances for the future? And what Sprockets is about loving every single child in our city. And one of those after-school programs was the Martin Luther King Center track team. And I developed a love for track at the King Center and at Central High School, and it ended up paying for college for me. All because of an after-school program. All because, and it wasn't that I remember being about 7 or 8 and somebody saying, and just being and after we roller skated, somebody said, who wants to join the track team? And it was the next thing to do, because my parents weren't there yet. And one of the things that I learned running track, and anybody who runs will tell you this, and Catherine's heard me say this because I say it to our cabinet quite a bit, is that anybody who's run knows that a relay team with 4 really fast runners loses every time to a relay team with good exchanges, who knows how to work together, who knows how to deal with transitions, who knows that this thing has to be greater than the sum of its parts. And that's what Sprockets is to me. It's us saying it's not just good enough. It's not good enough for us to do all this stuff as a community for Melvin. It's not good enough for us to do all this stuff as a community for the children who love to play with the ball or love some sport. We have to figure out how to meet every single child in our community where it sits, where they land, where they are right now. Whatever that means. It's starting there and building forward from that space. One of my favorite things about Sprockets is the history of its name. And I remember Mayor Coleman always said, and if you see him, don't tell him I gave him any credit for anything, please. I'm kidding. He's a good friend and a great mentor. But I remember him saying, we got this name from the young people. We got this name from the young people who we engaged. And we said, what do you want to do? What should it be? How should it feel? And the young people kind of put this in front of us. And that's at the core of what we're doing as a city. That's what I believe Sprockets is. That's at the core of one of the things we're doing as a city. I was doing an interview just yesterday and I was bragging about how we eliminated late fines in our public libraries. And they said, oh, this is amazing. That's such a good idea. And I said, you're missing the point. It wasn't my idea. I'm not smart enough to come up with that. This is something that our frontline librarians brought to us. It's something that we've heard from library users, from community members, brought this forward. I'm not smart enough to figure that out. And that's what I love about Sprockets. It's about making sure that all of our young people have the type of opportunities that I had as a young person. It's about making sure that we're thinking together in this room beyond just our programs, but to a city of young people, a city of need, a city of promise, a city of potential, a city of opportunity. Because in the exact same way as if I were to tell you that Apple stock or IBM stock or Facebook stock or any other stock was going to explode if you invest in it, we believe in the limitless potential of our children, right? If I told you a stock had unlimited promise and potential for the future, we'd trip over ourselves to invest in that stock. Well, let me tell you, I'm here, and our mantra lately has been bet on us. We're betting on us every chance we get. We're betting on us. We're betting on our children. We're betting on our families. We're betting on our students. We're betting that if we make a big investment in our young people, that our young people will make a big return to us. And that's what this is about. And that's why I appreciate you so much. That's why 10 years of you doing what you do, 10 years of the leadership you provide, I know that you're not just in it for the money. I know you're not just in it for the fame and the credit that gets, and the accolades that get heaped upon your shoulders for this work. And I know that it's hard work to do. But our city does not move forward in the way that we are without the work that all of you are doing. Our city does not move forward. And our city does not move forward in the way that we are without this space where we're coordinating and saying this work has to be at scale. It has to be population level work. It has to be deep investments in our young people. and has to be greater than the sum of its parts. So it means a lot to me. I'm appreciative to the opportunity to be here with you to toast 10 years and to celebrate what's to come with us as we serve our young people, as we engage our families, as we listen to our communities for the next 10 years. I want to get out of your way because I know you have other stuff, more important stuff to do than listen to me just tell you how much I appreciate your work. But I wanted to share with you a proclamation, and it says this. Whereas Sprockets was founded on a passion for supporting young people through engaging in learning, collaboration, and prioritizing opportunity for youth in our community. And whereas Sprockets engages a network of more than 35 community organizations in our St. Paul Public Schools to offer an array of out-of-school learning time programs, which collectively serve more than 25,000 youth every year. And whereas Sprockets partners strive to improve quality, accessibility, equity, and effectiveness of out-of-school time learning for all youth in St. Paul, and through these efforts continue to lead locally, regionally, and nationally, serving as a model for other communities across the country focused on supporting youth. And whereas the Sprockets Network promotes cultural health and understanding, and remains committed to continuing to build an inclusive network of youth, parents, schools, organizations, and government entities reflective of our diverse community, focused on working together to achieve long-term impact. And whereas today we celebrate 10 years of our Sprockets Network organizations ensuring all youth in St. Paul have the opportunity to participate in meaningful out-of-school time opportunities that help them succeed. Now therefore I, Melvin Carter, Mayor of the City of St. Paul, do hereby proclaim Monday, November 1st, 2021, to be Sprockets Day in the City of St. Paul. Thank you for all you do.